do. Need strength to get it done instead of messing around. All right, guys. Thanks for being with me today. It's 9 o'clock at night. However, I'm compelled to read Ruth. The book of Ruth is 4 chapters, so it's roughly about 100 and I don't know 60, 120, 160 verses or something like that. So bear with me. As always, we need to be concerned about others around us. What is it that we can do to be a difference maker? Keep me in prayers. I'm thinking I might get too much on my plate. Um, you think I'll be working 4 jobs instead of volunteering 3 and working 1. But nonetheless, it's a lot on my plate. And then I have a certain amount of, I got to take about 4 or 5 tests I need to do. Then I'm working on to sustain a few things that I'm doing between now and March, and also to improve a few things that I'm doing as far as being a full-rounded individual. Um, but actually, I feel good, so that's good too. It seems like the little bit of idle time I have is being utilized, so that's good. Just keep me in prayer. Been hitting the gym, been doing that anyway, but I'm starting to see the differences in doing it, eating better, as good as I can. I'm more conscientious about going out to eat. As far as we got this GMO and biodegradable ingredients, it's okay to eat it, but they don't break down what it is and go into detail. You just put it at the bottom of the ingredients. But nonetheless, let's be conscientious of it. I lost a good friend of mine that I met when I pastored church in Pennsylvania, DW. He passed on, and it's kind of odd. We're the same age. I mean, he was doing a few things that I thought was good for himself, healthy wise. He said he started taking cold showers over a year ago, and I can see the difference in his complexion. He was losing weight, and I don't know if this had anything to do with it. I know he got better, whereas that before he was walking with a cane, and he stopped walking without it. And so I don't know. I mean, I know he had. I talked to him last month in August, and he had August 2023 a stroke, and he was getting over the stroke, going through rehab, and was looking forward to going home, looking forward to getting married. And I haven't heard from him, and I went to go check up on him, and his brother called me back last Sunday and said that he had passed on. And I just didn't have it in me to ask what happened, you know, because I know they're going through a lot, and I felt like I was being newsy, so I didn't. So I got this my crown. I'm looking for it, so keep me in prayer on that. I'm looking, but then I'm not, and I have up to the 20th to get it, so I can go to the dentist. Okay, keep me in prayer. Let's get started today. Ruth 1. There went Boaz up to the gate and set him down there, and behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, and to whom he said, Ho, such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, Sit ye down here. And they sat down. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land, which was our brother's Elimelech's. And I thought to advertise thee, saying, Buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people. If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt redeem it, then tell me that I may know, for there is none to redeem it beside thee, and I am after thee. And he said, I will redeem it. Then said Boaz, What day thou buyest the field of the hand? You know what? Forgive me. I'm on chapter 4. I'm like, this don't sound right. We're going to start from chapter 1. At least we got a little bit of advertisement what's going on there. I'm like, they're supposed to start elsewhere. Now, Ruth 1. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man I know it, that's right, the words were difficult, Now it came in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the city in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his two sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his two sons Mahlon and Chilion, Chil- Chilion, Ephrathites of Benjamin, Judah. And they came into the country of Moab and continued there. And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left and her two sons. And they took them wives of the woman of Moab. The name of the one was Ophrah, and the name of the other Ruth. And they dwelt there about 10 years. And Mahlon and Chilion died also, both of them, and the woman was left of her two sons and her husband. Then she arose with her daughters in law that she might return from the country of Moab. For she had heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited his people and given them bread. Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her daughters in law with her. And they went on the way to return into the land of Judah. And Naomi said unto her daughters in law, Go, return each to her mother's house. The Lord deal with kindly. The Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me. The Lord grant you that ye may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept. And they said unto her, Surely we will return with thee unto thy people. And Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters. Why will ye go with me? As there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? Turn again, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. If I shall say, I have hope, if I shall have a husband also tonight, and should also bear sons, will you tarry for them till they were grown? Would you stay for them from having husbands? Would you stay from them from having husbands? Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. And they lifted up their voices and wept again. And Oprah kissed her mother in law, but Ruth clave to her. And she said, Behold, thy sister in law is gone back into her people and into her gods. Return thou after thy sister in law. And Ruth said, Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee, for whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. Where thou diest, when I die, I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord so to me, the Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me. When she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, then she left speaking with her. So they went until they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass when they were came to Bethlehem, that all the city was moved about them. And they said, Is this Naomi? And he said unto them, Call me not Naomi, call me Mara. For the Almighty hath dealt very, very bitterly with me. I went out full, and the Lord hath brought me home again empty. Why then call ye me Naomi, seeing that the Lord hath testified against me, and the Almighty has afflicted me? So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess, that's this thing, Moab, Moab, Moab. Man, I never had a problem with that. So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, with her, which returned out of the country of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem in the beginning of the barley harvest. Ruth chapter 2. And Naomi had a kinsman of her husband, a mighty man of wealth of the family of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz. And Ruth the Moabitess said unto Naomi, let me now go to thy field and glean ears of corn after him in whom sight I shall find grace. And she said unto her, go, my daughter. And she went and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers. And her hap was too light on a part of the field belonging unto Boaz, and he was the kindred of Elimelech. And behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said unto the reapers, the Lord be with you. And they answered him, the Lord bless thee. Then said Boaz unto his servant that was set over the reapers, whose damsel is this? And the servant that was set over the reapers answered and said, it is the Moabitess damsel that came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab. And she said, I pray you, let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves. So she came and hath continued even from the morning until now, that she tarried a little in the house. Then said Boaz unto Ruth, hearest thou not, my daughter? Go not to glean in another field, neither go from hence, but abide here fast by my maidens. Let thy eyes be of the field that they do reap, and go thou after them. Have I not charged the young men that they shall not touch thee? And when thou art athirst, go into the vessels and drink of that which the young men have drawn. Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground and said unto him, why have I found grace in thy eyes, that thou shouldest take knowledge of me, seeing I am a stranger? And Boaz answered and said unto her, it hath fully been shown me all that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thy husband, and how thou hast left thy father and thy mother in the land of thy nativity, and art come into a people which thou knowest not heretofore. The Lord recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee of the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to trust. Then she said, let me find favor in thy sight. And then she said, let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord, for thou hast comforted me, and for thou hast spoken friendly unto thy handmaid, though I be not like unto one of thy handmaidens. And Boaz said unto her, at mealtime come thou hither, and eat of the bread, and dip thy morsel in the vinegar. And she sat beside the reapers, and he reached her parched corn, and she did eat, and was sufficed, and left. And when she was risen up to glean, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, let her glean even among the sheaves, and reproach her not. And let fall also some of the handfuls of purpose for her, and leave them, that she may glean them, and rebuke her not. So she gleaned in the field until now, and she gleaned in the field until evening, and beat out that she had gleaned, and was about an ff of barley. And she took it up and went into the city, and her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned, and she brought forth and gave to her that she had reserved after she was sufficed. And her mother-in-law said unto her, where hast thou gleaned today? And where wroughtest thou? Blessed be he that did take knowledge of thee. And she showed her mother-in-law with whom she had wrought, and said, the man's name was whom I wrought today is Boaz. And Naomi said unto her mother-in-law, blessed be he of the Lord, who have not left off his kindness to the living and to the dead. And Naomi said unto her, the man is near of kin unto us, one of our next kinsmen. And Ruth the Moabitess said, He said unto me also that thou shalt keep fast by my young men until they have all ended my harvest. And Naomi said unto Ruth, her daughter-in-law, it is good, my daughter, that thou go with his maidens, that they meet thee not in any other field. So she kept fast by the maidens of Boaz to glean into the end of the barley harvest and of the wheat harvest, and dwelt with her mother-in-law. So we're now on Ruth chapter 3. So it didn't take that long to get halfway through. Then Naomi, this is a lot. I mean, as I'm reading this, I'm thinking about how Naomi and Oprah wanted to stay with Ruth. And Oprah left, but when she left, she went back to her gods. Naomi stayed, and God's rewarding her because not only did she make a commitment to be, Ruth stayed. Not only did she make a commitment to be with Naomi, but she made a commitment to serve the gods of Naomi. And with this said, um, Boaz keeps this in mind as he's addressing her. So sometimes when you stepping out, you don't know what's going to happen, but you just step out in belief, and and just do your part in life, and God, He'll take care of you. He said He reigns on the righteous and and the unrighteous. So if you go and you do what you're supposed to do, God will take care of you and do the right thing. He's going to take care of His people. He tells us, don't be concerned about tomorrow, for the evils of tomorrow. Don't be concerned about tomorrow for the evil. Let me go look it up. It's Matthew 6, 6:33. It's been a long day, and my mind right now is my mind. And if you know my mind, it comes and goes. And that's before I got old. It says, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow, for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day of the is the evil thereof. One moment, let me get some water. Uh, that sounds a little bit better. Hiccups. Oh my goodness. Maybe the water wasn't the way to go. My goodness. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said unto her, my daughter, shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee? And now is not Boaz of our kin, with whose maidens thou wast. Behold, he went winnoweth, winnoweth barley tonight in the threshing floor. Wash thyself therefore, and anoint thee, and put thy remnant upon thee, and get thee down to the floor, but make not thyself known unto the man, until he shall have done eating and drinking. And it shall be, when he lieth down, that thou shalt mark the place where he shall lie, and thou shalt go in and uncover his feet, and lay thee down, and he will tell thee what thou shalt do. And he said unto her, all that thou sayest unto me, I will do. And she went down into the floor and did according all that her mother-in-law bade her. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, he went to lay down at the end of the heap of corn. And she came softly and uncovered his feet and laid her down. And it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself, and behold, a woman lay at his feet. And he said, Who art thou? And she answered, I am Ruth, thy handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thy handmaid, for thou art a near kinsman. And he said, Behold, and he said, Blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast showed me, for thou hast showed more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning, inasmuch as thou followest not young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, fear not, I will do to thee all that thou requirest. For all the city of my people does hear that thou art a virtuous woman. And now it is true that I am thy near kinsman. Howbeit, there is a kinsman nearer than I. Tarry this night, and it shall be in the morning, that if he will perform unto thee the part of a kinsman, well, let him do the kinsman part. But if he will not do the part to the kinsman, then will I do the part of a kinsman to thee. As the Lord liveth, lie down until the morning. And she lay down at his feet until the morning, and she rose up before one could know another. And he said, Let it not be known that a woman came into the floor. And he said, Bring the veil that thou hast upon thee, and hold it. And when she held it, he measured measures of barley and laid it on her, and she went into the city. And when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, Who art thou, my daughter? And she told her all that the man had done to her. And she said, These 6 measures of barley gave he me, for he said to me, Go not empty into thy mother-in-law. Then said she, Sit still, my daughter, until thou know how the matter will fall. For the man will not be in rest until he have finished the thing this day. So now we're on Ruth chapter 4, which is the last chapter that is afforded to us in the Bible. This is 22 verses. Then went Boaz up to the gate and sat him down there. And behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, and to whom he said, Ho, such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, Sit ye down here. And they sat down. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, this is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land, which was our brother Elimelech's. And I thought to advertise thee, saying, Buy it from thy inhabitants and before the elders of my people. If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me that I may know, for there is none to redeem it beside thee. And I am after thee. And he said, I will redeem it. Then said Boaz, What day thou buyest the field of the land of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mine own inheritance. Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it. Now, this was the manner in former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing, for to confirm all things, a man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor, and this was a testimony in Israel. Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, Buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe. And Boaz said unto the elders and unto all the people, Ye are my witness this day that I have brought all that was Elimelech's, and all that was a Chilion's and Mahalon's of the hand of Naomi. Nevertheless, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahalon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. You are witnesses this day. And all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, We are witnesses. The Lord make the the woman that is come into thy house, like Rachel and like Leah, which two did build the house of Israel, and do thou worthily in Ephrathah, and be famous in Bethlehem. And let thy house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bare unto Judah, of the seed which the Lord shall give thee of this young woman. So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife. And when he went in unto her, the Lord gave her conception, and she bare a son. And the woman said unto Naomi, Blessed be the Lord, which have not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel. And he shall be unto thee a restorer of thy life, and a nourisher of thy old age for thy daughter-in-law, which loveth thee, which is better to thee than 7 sons has borne him. And Naomi took the child and laid it in her bosom, and became nurse unto it. And the woman, her neighbors, gave it a name, saying, This is a son born to Naomi. And they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse and the father of David. That's a great point. Ruth was part of the lineage that came from Abraham all the way down through Ruth to David to Jesus Christ. And when you look at the genealogies coming to Christ, it's all walks of life. Naomi was not born Jew. She was a proselyte Jew. In other words, she chose to be a Jew. At that time, Jews didn't come out and say, come to us, just like Christians do. When Christ have it where we go out to the world had to come in and give up what they had and become a proselyte Jew. So part of the lineage of David, part of the lineage of Christ is what mankind would not call pure, because God had people from different walks of life in that lineage. Now, these are the generations of Perez. Perez begot Harzran, and Harzran begot Ram, and Ram begot Aminadab, and Aminadab begot Nishon, and Nishon begot Salmon, and Salmon begot Boaz, and Boaz begot Obed, and Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David. And David was not the firstborn of Jesse. Actually, the latter born at the time he was chosen to be king. He was ruddy. So, thank you for the reading of this word today and listening to me. Let's finish up with Romans 10:9-13. So today, I don't know how long it took me, but it didn't take forever. Let me look real quick because I can. 28 minutes, right? And I stopped and whatnot. Romans 10:9-13, that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, and shalt believe in thy heart that God has raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. For with the heart man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. For the scripture saith, whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed, for there is no difference between the Jew and the Greek, for the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon him. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Thank you for listening. Godspeed. Subscribe if you're YouTube, please, because once I get so many subscriptions, then I can do portable live on YouTube, and I don't have to do it on a computer. So the more subscriptions I get for YouTube, I will greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Godspeed. You're the best. Blah, 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 blah.